Hello everyone and welcome to level 0 of using Creo. So first things first, if I go to select working directory, I can see that I am synced up to EV1CAD, as you can also see by the icon. But you also want to make sure you're synced to the OneDrive. This is critical. If you're not synced here, you're going to run into issues with models not opening correctly, and it'll all be because of you not being synced. So you might have to manually do that every time you start up your computer if it's not automatically set to open. But that's where a lot of issues happen, is when you're not synced. And obviously you need to be connected to the internet for that too. With the student license, you also need to be connected to the internet. So this is the student license followed by the wiki, not the online student version, which is different. But anyway, so first things first, select working directory. So this tutorial is just going to be about viewing models and how to navigate around Creo. So first things first, every time you open Creo, you want to select the working directory which you're planning to work on. Because otherwise what happens is you have a lot of files dumped in this opening directory, which is not what you want. This is file management 101. We want to be storing things in the right spot. So I'm going to go to motors and drivetrain and look at the container today. Press OK, so I'm now in that directory. So if I just go open, I'm now in accumulator container. I'm just going to open the assembly here. So now that we're loaded up, I'm just going to hide all these planes, axes and whatever. These here, they're not commonly used in models, but to hide those as well, if you go up to view and untick this box here, annotation display, and that will hide those for you. Now, as you can probably see, the way I'm orbiting around here to do that, I'm pushing in the middle mouse roller button and just moving the mouse around is how I'm doing that. And then to pan, you want to press shift and you press in the middle mouse button again, and you can pan across the screen. To zoom in and out, you just scroll, and it's as simple as that. So with those sort of three tools, you can go about navigating pretty easily around a model. So now we've got an assembly. We can't really see much except for the outside box. So to easily view things within inside your model, you might want to go ahead and hide things. So I've just left clicked there, and I can go ahead and tick hide. Or if I want to, I can make it that that's the only thing in the model that's being shown, or show all except, etc., etc. I'm just going to hide that model so I can see within the top of this container here. And I'm also going to do the same with the front here as well. Hide that one. So this is our accumulator container for EV1. And now obviously you've got assemblies within assemblies. So there's a few ways we can view just these assemblies. So maybe you want to see if it's fitting properly or you want to make adjustments to it. If you select that model, so if I just click them, you'll see it's selected module case. I actually wanted to select that whole assembly there. So if I just scroll up in the model tree, you'll see that the model, the case, when I clicked on it, it opened up the model tree so it would show where it belongs. So same with like anything else. If I click on, so if I just close that again, if I just click on here, it'll open up that model tree. So then it shows me where I'm coming from, basically. So if I want to just activate this assembly, now this is a really good way for when we're modeling things, is to have a assembly activated or even just a part activated. We'll get into that a bit later in another tutorial, but just today we're going to walk through how to do the simple things. So that's one way to just view that model within the assembly. Obviously it's not really helpful, But when it comes to modeling parts within assemblies, this is extremely useful. And to get back to the main assembly, we just scroll back up to the top, left click, and activate. And now my whole assembly is activated again. So I want to open this up individually, and obviously it's a bit hard when it's an assembly and it's got multiple parts to do so. So I'm just gonna, as before, go up the model tree, module inverted. I might just pick the normal one actually, module, and this little folder icon here will open it in a new window. There is also the edit definition button. So that is normally with parts or extrusion, edit definition changes those, but in the assembly level, it actually changes your constraints to how that model is assembled within the assembly. So if I go up to placement, it shows all my constraints here. So coincident, coincident, coincident. So if I wanted to change those, I could change it in here. I could remove them completely and make new ones, etc., etc. Or flip, or maybe if it's something that's offset, I could change that offset in there as well. I'm just going to click close. And then I'm going to open it up in a new window. So I'm just going to go module, make sure one's only selected here. I don't know what's going on there. Bit strange. Anyway, we're just going to push forward and open this one here. Module, open in new window, and then I just get the that assembly opened in there now. And then obviously same sort of thing in this window. If I want to go ahead and open other parts, I can go ahead and do that. If I want, so to close these now, there's a few ways to do that. You can go File, Exit. You can also press this button up here, which will do the same thing, close. But in here, you've got a lot of your file management stuff. So if you wanted to rename and do all those sorts of things, you obviously go Manage File, Rename. And this is the correct way to rename things. Do not ever try and rename something in the File Explorer. You want to rename it in Creo. There's also delete old versions. This tool is to get rid of every time you save something in Creo, it makes a new copy of it. While that might seem a bit redundant, it's the reason why our whole system in SharePoint works correctly. So if I open up File Explorer and go and view some of the things in here, so Mosen drivetrain, accumulator container, there are several files that are exactly the same. Normally it comes up with a number next to it. It's not showing it here right now. I'm not sure why, but obviously there's multiple versions of that same file. And while that might seem like a waste of space, it's not taking up a whole lot of memory, and it's kind of the backbone of it working in the cloud system. So don't ever bother trying to remove those. There is a tool for a more of a high level management position to go about removing all of them in that directory at once, but it's kind of not necessary to work. But I might touch on that briefly in another video. But yeah, so to change names, you want to go about doing that. Let's say we're in this part here, and obviously my working directory is, if I go to open, I'm still in accumulator container. If I go back here, the battery modules are actually in a different file. So if I go ahead and make something here, there is a chance that it will actually save that folder in this directory instead. So to quickly change between directories, you want to just go Manage Session, select Working Directory. You might want to just take it back to the battery modules. Done. And now everything I I create a new part, for instance, now, it'll save in that directory where it should be. So there's no getting lost finding parts or whatever. Yeah, anyway, that's been level 0 of this tutorial, of these tutorials, I should say. There's going to be a few, I don't know how many, but this is your first step into Creo to just navigate around. Obviously, this is good for someone who may not do any modeling, they just want to be able to see things. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.